and multiply them or divide them, my overall answer is positive. So as an example, if I have the number 5 multiplied by -1, I have a positive number, 5, times a negative number, 1. And when I multiply these two numbers together, my overall answer is negative. 5 times -1 is -5. Likewise, -8 multiplied by -2. Well, I have two negative numbers now being multiplied, so my rules tell me my overall answer would be positive. 8 times 2 is, -8 times -2 is positive 16. One more example, -12 divided by 3, positive 3. Again, I have a negative number divided by a positive number. So my overall answer would be negative. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So -12 divided by positive 3 is -4. So we've looked at addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division on its own. Now let's start putting it all together, and when we put it all together, we need to remember BEDMAS. BEDMAS stands for brackets, exponents, divide, multiply, add, and subtract. BEDMAS tells you the order you should perform operations in, starting with brackets first and working your way down to subtraction. So a question like this, 8 divided by 2 plus -3 times -2, BEDMAS tells me to take care of the divisions first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I'm adding to that -3 times -2. BEDMAS next tells me to take care of the multiplications. -3 times -2 is positive 6. Two negatives multiplied gives you a positive. And then finally we do the addition. 4 plus 6 is 10. Notice how, as I'm solving, I'm working down, not across. Also notice how my equal signs all line up. These are parts of good form in mathematics. So as we're solving problems, we always want to be working down, not across, and making sure in our questions our equal signs line up, and we only have one equal sign per line. Last question, 3 plus 6 divided by -2, again. Start by solving the division. So we have 3 plus 6 divided by -2, and we have a positive divided by a negative, so that ends up being -3. As we're working through this question, I have 3 plus in brackets, -3. We have to imagine that there's a invisible number 1 in the front of that bracket, which means I'm really multiplying 1 times -3. Positive 1 times -3 is -3. And then my final answer, 3 take away 3, would be 0. Again, I'm working down, not across, and I have one equal sign per line.
Huge country, and each community has its own unique needs and interests. To serve Canadians most effectively, the government is split into 3 three levels. The federal government is responsible for the entire country. Provincial and territorial governments are responsible for their province or territory, and local or municipal governments manage their city or town. So, what exactly does the federal government do? They handle all matters of national and international concern, like national defense, foreign affairs and trade, currency, fisheries and oceans, and citizenship and immigration. Provincial and territorial governments are responsible for more regional issues, like education, healthcare delivery, natural resources, and transportation and highways. Local and municipal governments represent the interests of cities, towns, and villages, and they're responsible for local matters such as waste removal, water and sewage, libraries, and parks and recreation. In Canada, we vote for people to represent us at each level. These representatives are then responsible for proposing, studying, debating, and voting on bills, which are potential laws. Still unsure of who's who? Here's a quick overview. Federal elected representatives are called Members of Parliament, or MPs for short. They gather to debate and pass laws in the House of Commons in Ottawa. Then, depending on where you live, the provincial or territorial elected representatives are known as members of the Legislative Assembly, members of provincial parliament, members of the National Assembly, or members of the House of Assembly. They meet at their respective legislatures in the capital of the province or territory. Finally, at the municipal level, our elected representatives are normally called councillors or aldermen, and they meet at their city or town hall. Each level of government also has a leader. The head of the federal government is the Prime Minister. The leader of the provincial or territorial government is the Premier, and the leader at the municipal level is usually a mayor or a reeve. Every day, many parts of your life are impacted by the different levels of government, and each government is led by politicians that we elect.
Yep. How's that? The last one was a joke. Okay, all right. Deep breath.